The Community is a presentation of the St. Louis Community Credit Union and RareGem Productions. Power up with the positive. Learn more at OneRareGem.com. That's OneRareGem.com. Welcome to the Community.
The St. Louis Community Credit Union presents The Community, a forum for information and resources relevant to empowering our community. Consumer financial education, budgeting, credit, payday lending, community events and initiatives, health and human services, life skills. What's important to you? The Community with Dorothy Bell, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer.
On this edition of The Community, we're having a conversation about baggage. Whether it is emotional or financial, we owe it to ourselves and our families to let it go.
So there's different types of baggage, in my opinion, that we can carry. Some might extend from past hurt and disappointment, which might lead to rejection or poor self-image, a negative attitude, or even just a fear of failure. We can have financial baggage as well. It could be a result of unwise choices. It could be a lack of self-control. Oftentimes when we feel like we're missing something in life and we're really not in tune with ourselves, we may try to fill our void. And so we may overspend. We may spend emotionally to try to make ourselves feel better. So in my opinion, if we're able to be honest and real with ourselves, first and foremost, then we can look at the types of baggage that we may be carrying.
Learn how you can do just that right after this.
Now here's Make It Happen with Keith Sales Pro.
According to leadership advisor Lee Colin, here's 4 things every leader should know. Attitude. Life's rewards go to those who let their actions rise above their excuses. Execution. A good plan gets you into the race, but execution propels you into the winner's circle. Growth. High revenue growth forgives many sins. And 4, communication. Those who underestimate the intelligence of their employees generally overestimate their own. Today, remember, it can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Follow Keith Sales Pro on Facebook or Twitter at Keith Sales Pro, or visit his website at KeithSalesPro.com.
It can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
If we're going to tackle the big problems that face our children and our communities today, we have to have a deeper conversation. Let's go beyond the normal talk around town. Join me, Chris Kramer, for Going Beyond every week on Hallelujah 1600.
10 a.m. Wednesday morning. Information and podcast at beyondhousing.org. Welcome to the Community.
Today we're talking about the importance of unloading baggage. Joining me is Shalia Ford, community volunteer. She's also a faithful volunteer instructor at the Life Skills and Financial Education Facility, the CU Excel Center. Shaila, welcome to the Community.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your work as a community volunteer.
Well, first of all, I'd like to share my mission. My mission simply is to encourage others. And so being a community volunteer allows me to serve others and share my gifts and talents with others. And I've had the privilege of sharing them recently with you all at the CU Excel Center.
Shaila often comes and answers the call, if you will, for us at the CU Excel Center in Northwoods. That's our free financial education and life skills facility that we offer to the community. Whether you need help with budgeting or you need help with balancing life, we're there for you. And Shaila has just been so good to us and just answering the call whenever we needed her and just truly having a passion to serve the community. She won the 2014 Community Volunteer Award during St. Louis Community Credit Union's Ambassador Luncheon. That was a luncheon that we have each year to just showcase our commitment to the community for our partners. We really appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Now, part of your work involves empowering women and even men to live better lives. It's about being free. So let's talk about that free component that we're looking for, that baggage, for a second. Let's talk about that. What kinds of baggage are we faced with?
So there's different types of baggage, in my opinion, that we can carry. Some might extend from past hurt and disappointment, which might lead to rejection or poor self-image, a negative attitude, or even just a fear of failure. We can have financial baggage as well. It could be a result of unwise choices. It could be a lack of self-control. Oftentimes when we feel like we're missing something in life and we're really not in tune with ourselves, we may try to fill our void. And so we may overspend. We may spend emotionally to try to make ourselves feel better. when we really haven't gotten to the root cause.
And that's a temporary fix
Exactly.
in and of itself.
Exactly. So in my opinion, if we're able to be honest and real with ourselves, first and foremost, then we can look at the types of baggage that we may be carrying. It could be, again, some additional type of baggage might just be we are prideful, or maybe we're greedy, or maybe we're angry, or we're just someone who carries around unforgiveness. And to me, that's one of the bags that I think are the heaviest that most people carry and don't even realize it. Someone may have done something to you. I always make a joke, when you were in third grade. And how many years ago was that?
Oh, my goodness.
But you still carry that.
You think about it.
Right. When you see the person, their name comes up in conversation or whatnot, you all of a sudden are kind of jolted back into that childhood experience or that bad, hurtful pain.
You're reliving that story.
Exactly. And then you carry it, and then that burden creates bitterness, resentfulness, and you then become a person where if you're not willing to let it go, you decide, I have to get revenge on that person. And then that's never good, because you're digging a pit for someone else as well as yourself if you're doing that.
Right. And it's certainly not healthy. It's not a healthy thing at all. I know you touch on this subject a lot at the CU Excel Center when you teach for us there. And you also offer Life Enrichment workshops at the CU Excel Center. Tell us about some of those.
Well, the purpose of the Life Enrichment workshops are to promote personal and professional development by equipping community members with information and strategies to build and practice new skills. So some of the topics that I've touched on in the past, again, the unloading baggage or emotional wellness. I've touched on life keys, dealing with life balance. We've touched on discovering our shape, which is really about understanding your purpose, the things that motivate you, the things that you're most passionate about, and how you can use that to your benefit, and how sometimes people are searching for what is their life purpose, but I contend that our shape, which stands for your self-discovery or your skills, your heart, your abilities, your personality, and your experiences, all those together point to your purpose. And so if you just stop and kind of look at the journey of your life, there's some details that you'll find that will be a common thread to help you to kind of understand, well, what is my purpose? And so those are the types of things that I've done. A couple of new things that I'm going to be introducing in the next series based on workshop evaluations and topics that individuals wanted us to talk about. One is about relationships. And so I have one called Right-Sizing Relationships. And so that's really about healthy and unhealthy relationships and understanding how do you identify that? How do you address things? And then there's relationships that we have that we need to salvage. And when I say that, I mean, maybe we haven't talked to someone that's a really good friend in a long time, or maybe there has been something that has created a distance between you. But if the relationship isn't important enough, then what can you do to get that relationship back right and reconnect with that individual? Oftentimes, maybe that's not the case. And so how do we deal with that? The other session that we'll be offering is on networking. And for me, it was just quite funny because I thought, I'm one of those people that says, I don't like to network. I don't like to smooze. But you have to look at it from a different perspective. And it's really about how do I connect with individuals to achieve your purpose. If you understand what your life purpose is, then when you make connections with individuals, you see that from a different perspective. And it's no longer about smoozing as much as it is, how do I connect individuals with a resource or something that they need, as well as how can they maybe connect me with a resource that I may need. So it's about a give and take more than it's just for collecting business cards. And
right.
So I would like to talk about that with individuals.
I think that's important because a lot of times you don't know who you might meet and for what reason that exactly. you might meet them for. I know at the CU Excel Center, we ran into one of our community partners and we talked about what we do at the center in terms of education and life enriching and life empowerment. And she shared with us how one of her church members knew someone that recently became homeless. Mm-hmm. And what are some resources? Can you point me in the right direction? Well, at St. Louis Community Credit Union, we have a social services directory where we can just pull it out and say, well, here are some individuals or here are some agencies that we work with and make that connection. So exactly. you just never know what the need is. So it's exactly. good to be able to network and get what you need to help someone. So Shaila, what are some keys to unloading that baggage that we may carry?
Well, first, I believe we have to admit and acknowledge that there's something there, that perhaps we're carrying some baggage from our past that maybe we've just stuffed away because we don't want to deal with it. So one is admitting and acknowledging. Two, the other piece, and I'm big on this, is just dealing with the forgiveness or unforgiveness. Oftentimes we want to hold something and blame someone else for our pain and our hurt. But if we don't address it, then we should also hold ourselves accountable. So we have to, one, forgive ourselves, and then we, two, have to forgive the individual. When we forgive, it's not about letting them off scot-free. It's really about releasing ourselves so that we can move on and that individual can move on. They may never say that they're sorry. They may never apologize. But if you focus in your mind and heart that you're going to let it go and that you're going to forgive, then you free yourself up to move on with your life. The other thing is that, you know, I walk through steps on how do you know that you've forgiven? And part of it is that one little test. When you see that individual, does it raise those issues? Does it bring it all back into, play for you? Do you have those mean and nasty feelings towards that individual? Or have you been able to gain a sense of compassion for that individual and just say there must have been something going on? It doesn't mean that, again, you forgive or excuse maybe what has happened, but you come from a different perspective and then say, you know what, I do forgive you. I accept it. I move on. And sometimes you have that where it's just a complete break of a relationship or you don't have any additional dealings with the person, so to speak. Or you may say, you know what, we've forgiven. We've talked about it. We're working on rebuilding our relationship or rebuilding what was lost. And so I think it just really depends on the situation and the individual, but know that it starts with you and you have a lot of work to do before you can unload baggage.
A work in progress.
Definitely.
Do you have any workshops coming up?
Yes, I actually will be at the CU Excel Center in September. Starting on the 9th for the next 4 Tuesdays, we'll have workshops that we'll be offering. So one is unloading baggage. We also will be offering the life keys, tips to a balanced life. We will be offering the right sizing relationships as well as the art of networking. And so I look forward to the opportunity to share information, wisdom, dialogue with members of our community about those various topics. And it's always interactive. I'm not there as a professor or lecturing. It's really an interactive conversation where we can all share our thoughts, our feelings, ask questions, and support one another. So it's always a wonderful experience. And we just encourage individuals, if those topics are of interest to you, come out and bring a friend.
Yeah, I've been to several of your workshops at the CU Excel Center. I must admit, it seems like you're sitting around the dinner table talking to a family member because the people that come in, they have so much to share.
Definitely.
And this classes begin on Tuesdays at 6:30. And it's so funny because by the time it's over, people really don't want to leave and everyone is still talking and really engaged. So we thank you for that. So if our listeners want to get more information on the classes that are coming up, check out our website sometime later in the fall, probably in August. And that's cuexcelcenter.com. That's letter C, letter U, excelcenter.com. And thank you, Shaila. Unloading baggage, whether it's emotional or financial or any type of burden, is the key to personal empowerment. It all starts with us.
The Community, a forum for information and resources relevant to empowering this community, engaging topics that could change your life. Each week at 4 p.m. on Hallelujah 1600. Learn more about the services from the St. Louis Community Credit Union, the St. Louis Community CU Foundation, the CU Excel Center, and our community partners by calling 314-534-7610, 314-534-7610, or click stlouiscommunity.com.
The St. Louis Community Credit Union presents The Community, a forum for information and resources relevant to empowering our community. What's important to you? The Community with Dorothy Bell, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer.
The Community is a presentation of the St. Louis Community Credit Union and RareGem Productions. Power up with the positive. Learn more at OneRareGem.com. That's OneRaregem.com.
Thanks again for listening.